creek. Walk 'em up and down in the summer heat. Same old boy changing like the seasons. Country kid turning to a town right heathen. Country kid turning to a town right heathen.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Old Man Van Running. Here again in the Old Man Van Cave, the Old Man Van Castle. Now today I'm going to give you a quick updated review of the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. As you saw in my initial video, I first wore this shoe at the New York City Half Marathon back in March. It was right out of the box. I used that race as a training run for the Boston Marathon, so I didn't go all out. And it performed fine, but it really wasn't an all-out race, so I couldn't tell if it really matched up to the Endorphin Pro 3. I then wore the shoe at the Boston Marathon, and because of the weather, right, the extreme conditions, the heat and everything, as you know from my video, I was on the struggle bus the second half of that race. So again, it wasn't a great race to really find out if the Endorphin Pro 4 matched up with the Endorphin Pro 3. So the plan was to do one more race in this shoe. And that race was the Yukon Health Half Marathon up on Iron Horse in Simsbury, Connecticut about 3 weeks ago. So the plan in that race was to wear the Endorphin Pro 4s, go as fast as I could go, and try to win my age group, the 60 to 64 age group, for the second straight year. So I did that, and I did defend my age group title. I ran a 1:39.19, and it's not a PR. I set my PR last year at the same race, under 1:37, but considering the shape I'm in right now from a short distance race perspective, it was a really good result. So the question is, now that I did that, how does the Endorphin Pro 4 really stack up to the Endorphin Pro 3? But before I give you my updated rating, if you go back to my initial review, only on the New York City Half Marathon and the Boston Marathon, I gave the Endorphin Pro 4 a score of 9.4 out of 10. I wasn't sure if it was really as responsive as the Endorphin Pro 3, but as I told you, I was going to give it one more race and see if that changed. But before I give you the updated rating, let's just rehash the numbers very quickly. $225 US, not a bad price for a carbon fiber super shoe. As I mentioned in my previous video, it's also a shoe that you can wear for training. It's pretty darn stable. So, I think that's a pretty good value, a pretty good price. It's right on par with the Endorphin Pro 3. It's not on the high end of the super duper carbon fiber racing shoes. It's not the lowest priced one, but it's a pretty decent price. Weight-wise, 7.7 ounces in a men's size 9 or 218 grams. And for women, it's 6.5 ounces or 184 grams in a women's size 8. So it's a little bit heavier than the previous version, the Endorphin Pro 3, but it's still a very, very light super duper shoe. Stack height, also very close to the Endorphin Pro 3. 40 millimeters in the rear foot, 32 millimeters in the forefoot for a heel-to-toe drop of that magic, 8 millimeters. Endorphin Pro 3 was like 39.5, and I believe it was 31.5 in the forefoot. So pretty much the same thing for both shoes. Okay, now that the numbers are out of the way, let's get right into the update. So I wore this shoe at the Yukon Health Half Marathon on Iron Horse about 3+ weeks ago. And in that race, I raced it all out. I didn't get a PR. I wasn't hoping for a PR that day. I'm not in the same shape I was last year, but it was an all-out race trying to defend my age group title. And, the Endorphin Pro 4 performed very well. I did get that age group win, and I did get a sub 140. I got a 139.19. So the shoe performed really well. Here are my thoughts on it. When I wore the Endorphin Pro 3 last year, it wasn't as stable as the Endorphin Pro 4, but it felt a little snappier. It felt a little smoother through the gait cycle. It felt a little bouncier and even a little firmer than the Endorphin Pro 4. Now, the Endorphin Pro 4 is very smooth as well, right? It also has that plate. It does have some bounce in it. It's a little clunkier in the rear foot. It's a little softer in the rear foot, which helps. It's a little more stable than the Endorphin Pro 3. But overall, it's just, a tad less responsive than the Endorphin Pro 3. But I think it also saves your legs a little bit better because of that stability and additional cushioning. So, I've had great results with the Endorphin Pro 3. every distance from 5K all the way to the marathon. This shoe right here, I think, is better suited for the marathon. Better suited for the marathon than, those shorter races. Even up to the half marathon, I would prefer the Endorphin Pro 3. Is it a huge drop off in performance? No. Do I think I could set a PR at the half marathon in this shoe? Yeah, I think I could. I just don't see it as a shoe that I could wear at a 5K or a 10K. I'd rather wear like the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Plus or the Endorphin Pro 3. But I think this is a great shoe for the marathon distance. Because of that cushioning, because of that additional stability, I think it saves your legs for those longer efforts. I just don't think it's quite on par with the Endorphin Pro 3. But I do think it's closer than my initial assessment. I'm going to give this shoe now a 9.5 out of 10 versus the 9.4 I originally gave it. And here's why I'm going to do that. I think it's mainly because this is a very good shoe, right? It's a good shoe. It's a great marathon shoe, I think, right? A great option. It's a great option for stability runners who are looking for a more stable, super duper carbon fiber racing shoe. So I think it's excellent in that regard. And I also think it's a shoe that's versatile enough from a training racing perspective. I think if you want a good long distance training shoe / race shoe, this shoe fits the bill. That stability, that inherent stability in there and that tons of cushioning, makes this shoe a shoe I think you can use for some of those long runs in your marathon training block, some of those more up-tempo progression marathon pace runs. I think it's a really good shoe for that. So I think you can get some training out of it and some racing out of it. I think it's got some durability. The outsole isn't wearing much at all. I've got those 3 races, so the equivalent of 2 marathons, and really no wear there. So I think this outsole is really going to hold up well. So for that reason, I think, it's worth increasing the score incrementally. But again, 9.7 on the Endorphin Pro 3, just because that shoe to me is from all distances. It does have some stability in it. For me, it was just the best race shoe I've ever worn. And, this shoe doesn't quite meet that standard. So if any of you out there have tried both of these shoes, please give me your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really interested to see if, you're thinking the same way I am, but that's my experience with the Endorphin Pro 4. I think it's a great shoe. It's a shoe I'm going to keep in my rotation. I just don't know that it's going to be my marathon shoe going forward. I'm still thinking about what I'm going to wear for the Chicago Marathon this coming October. So the jury's still out there. One thing I'm thinking about is I may go with the Metaspeed Edge Paris. So I really do like that shoe. I've been wearing that in my 5Ks and my 10Ks. And it may be an option for Chicago, but I haven't fully decided that yet. Coming up, I'm looking to purchase a couple of new pairs of shoes, probably the ASICS Gel Kayano 31. They've modified the upper a little bit, so I'm interested to see if that takes care of some of the hot spot blister issues I've been having with the previous versions. And also, I'm really interested to see the new ASICS Super Blast update when that comes out in July. So assuming it does come out in July, I'm really going to try to get my hands on that. I absolutely love the current Super Blast. I can't find another pair in my size. They're sold out. People love those shoes. I wore it today on my 14-mile long run, and I hope they don't reinvent the wheel with that shoe. I really like the current version. Mine's almost wore out, so it really stinks that I can't find another pair in my size. But you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully the updated version will be as good or better than the previous. So thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll get notified when more videos are posted. Comments, any and all comments really do help my channel. And if you have friends, running pals, family members, acquaintances that you think might enjoy the Old Man Van Running channel, please let them know. Once again, as always, remember, lace up those shoes and let's get out on the roads.
Railroad tracks run along the creek, walk 'em up and down in the summer heat. Same old boy changing like the seasons, country kid turning into a town right heathen. Country kid turning into a town